Is the C8 Corvette, aside from the image issues Corvette owners get, the best sports car you can buy for under 70 grand? Today we're gonna find that out because honestly, me myself, I'm not the biggest fan of Corvettes. I like and can appreciate them, but because I see them everywhere I go on the road, they're not the most desirable car that I would desire to own. However, a lot of people love Corvettes, and I'm here to find out today if the newest Corvette, the C8 Corvette, the Corvette that went mid-engine like supercars like Ferraris and Lamborghinis, if this car is one of the best cars that you can buy under 70 grand. And this car is being sold for $67K here at Washington Exotics. And this is a 3LT, which is the highest C8 Corvette package that you can get aside from the Z06. Now, looks are subjective, but I actually like the looks of the Corvette. I just think that, as I've said, you see them every day on the road, so they're not as special anymore as they once were when they first came out. However, the biggest thing is that Chevy went mid-engine with the newest Corvette, which is going to inherently give you some handling benefits, but it might make it just a little bit harder to drift compared to a C7 Corvette. Now guys, no lie, this interior is definitely nice and I can really appreciate it. They have nice leather, contrast stitching, you have touches of carbon fiber here. The cockpit is aimed towards you and all of these controls are aimed towards you, which I really like. And these paddles are metal, which I can really appreciate because, like, for instance, Audi uses a lot of plastic paddles, which I cannot stand. I don't know why you're paying so much money for a premium brand and they're gonna stick on some cheap plastic paddles that don't feel good to press. And the one thing to note is that all Corvettes are going to be pretty much essentially roadsters where you can remove this roof and have an open top experience to some degree. And then you can also get the convertible, which is going to be automatically done through a button. And guys, the C8 Corvette is one of the last modern sports cars that still sounds like this. But the thing I'm trying to find out today is this a $60,000 to $70,000 driving experience? And I want to remind everyone that we're taking image out of this because under 70 grand, there are far better cars that you can purchase that will assist you far better than the C8 Corvette in your building of your personal brand, of your business, whatever it is. For example, you can get a first gen Ferrari California for around that price range. You can also get a second gen DB9 Aston Martin. Those are far better network building, personal brand building vehicles than the C8 Corvette. But what I'm trying to figure out is this one of the best performance cars that you can buy for that price range? If you guys like naturally aspirated vehicles, you would love this because the throttle response is so instantaneous. And the transmission, by the way, is also very, very instantaneous. It's a dual clutch, unlike the C7, which is an automatic. The downshifts and upshifts are lightning fast. There's no drama in between them, which is something that I miss. I love on the Ferrari dual clutches how it kind of jolts you with an upshift, which is not something that this does. When you drive it, it does kind of feel like you're driving a supercar, especially considering things like the 430, even the 458 kind of give you this feel. Naturally aspirated V8 mid-engine. One thing I will say is you hear a lot of the road, however you don't feel a lot of the road, especially through the steering. The steering is kind of dead. I like that it's a flat bottom steering wheel, which is pretty cool. However, it just doesn't feel like you can feel a lot through the steering wheel. And that is something that if people really, really prefer that, which I do, then you might be steered a little bit more towards like Porsche or Lotus. This is gonna feel a lot more dead in the texture in the steering wheel, which is gonna provide you less information when you're driving it fast. Also, one thing you guys gotta note is that the rear does get a little squirrely, especially if you aren't careful with your throttle application. Be careful when you're driving these. I don't know if there's a bit of piped in engine noise, but you hear that. You hear the motor a lot. The steering weight in and of itself is really, really good, I would say. Even though there's not that much feel. And I love clicking these paddles. It's metal. It feels good. So I would say there's plenty of confidence in the chassis. By the way, it feels glued down to the ground, which is an effect of that mid-engine weight distribution. Man. Now, obviously, this doesn't have crazy power like the supercars of today. However, if you consider that this makes more power than a Ferrari F430, 360, the older supercars that we love so well, similar power to like the first gen Gallardo, things like that, then you are really getting a supercar of old, but it's just new, you know what I mean? And it's by Chevy. So if you guys are going for something that feels like a supercar, instead of maybe like an entry-level product from the supercar brands like California or a Vantage or a DB9, this car just handles so well. I just accelerated mid-corner there and it felt flat. You don't feel any body roll at all. This car really truly performs at a different level than most of the competition. Like, sure, it doesn't come with a manual like the Supra or the Z, but most new supercars go with dual clutches anyway. So if we're just, as I said, going for feel, how does this feel? This feels like you are getting a bargain for 67 grand or however much this is. This feels like a supercar, but it's not exactly. It's a Chevy. And that's the only thing that would detract somebody from buying this, is that it is a Chevy, and that does matter because Corvettes do not open the same doors as Ferraris and Aston Martins do. That is just the simple fact of life. If you own a Ferrari California that's bright red, that has a nice interior, that all day, every day will get more attention than this C8 Corvette. But this C8 Corvette is going to drive at a much higher level than that Ferrari California all day, every day. And so guys, that is really your decision to make as to what you would like. What are you going to utilize your money for? Something that gives you the feeling and the excitement of a supercar? Or are you going to choose something from those supercar brands, but something that is going to be the entry-level product that's going to be a little bit sacrificed in that handling and dynamic aspect, and something that is going to come with image issues, i.e. you bought the entry-level Ferrari, you're poor, you're broke, you couldn't have bought the supercar. Anyways, guys, that's the video. The C8 Corvette is absolutely a performance car worth 67 grand. Guys, this car is here for sale at Washington Exotics. So if you guys like this specific C8 Corvette, again 3LT, it is up for sale. And no car that handles this well and performs this well should be sitting at our lot. Somebody should be enjoying it around a back road. And hopefully someone does enjoy this car. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Till next time.